in the first film is something that you'll remember most, the most memorable scene for you, or memorable statement?
When they were talking about driving in Los Angeles, because that was something new for us. Because obviously we don't know, we haven't been to Los Angeles, so it was interesting to listen to, because driving in Poland is not so complicated, I think. And we have pretty good streets, so yes, that one.
And you're both driving?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's like Adrian says he doesn't have his driver's license yet. And I think most people in the United States might get a learner's permit at about 15 years old, but if you live in a city, it might take longer. Who knows about driving in the United States? Who can speak to that? Yeah, that 15 and 16. 16, you get your driver's license. But sometimes in the cities, it takes longer, and you have to pay for a driver's course. In your high school, do you have driver's training, Zofia and Luisa?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Do you have driver's training as a subject?
No.
No. So you have to go to a private training school. I see. Christina, how is it in Washington? Will Lila and Ruby have driver's training in Washington State? Christina? They're living in a rural area in Washington State.
Sorry.
Oh,
I thought I was unmuted. I was talking and you could not hear me. So it's no longer a subject in school like when we were kids. There's just driving schools that you have to sign up for and pay for.
I see.
And so Ruby, we've started teaching Ruby to drive, but she has not taken her learner's permit yet. So we're kind of doing it on the farm under the radar. But
right.
When she gets back, we'll get her a learner's permit and start the official process and get her signed up for driving school.
Yeah, sure. Are some of her friends already driving to school?
Yes.
Right. When it's typical for a kid on a farm to learn how to drive?
Oh, I think that Andy learned, as a child. So probably somewhere between 7 and 12, he probably learned to drive something. And then he was probably driving farm equipment, maybe not the big stuff, but some things by 12.
Wow.
It's not uncommon to see 12-year-olds driving something on the farm. But he definitely had his license probably the day he turned 16.
I can just imagine.
He was also driving his little brother and sister to school as well.
Okay. Zofia and Luisa, do you know anyone who lives on a farm and might be driving farm equipment and before they're 15 years old?
No, but I know someone who lives on a farm and drives a motorcycle, but they're 17.
Okay, yeah. So pretty amazing what Christina just told us about her husband, who was already driving things from age 7 to 12. That's gives you some.
Oh, he wouldn't be driving farm equipment.
Not farm equipment, but motorcycles probably.
Yeah, dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, things like that, probably at a fairly young age. But I know definitely by age 12 he was driving. I'm pretty sure that's when he learned to drive a vehicle.
Okay. Wow.
Well, if you want
Like a
the
farm
Los
truck.
Angeles story, I could tell you.
Yes, please.
Driving.
Please do.
Because my daughter Ramona learned how to drive. It's not in school anymore. You don't have driver's training like we did. And if you want to get your driver's license before you're 18, you have to pay to take a class at a driving school. But if you're 18 or older, you don't have to have the driving school experience. You can just go take your test at the DMV.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, a lot of kids in LA learn how to drive because everything's so far away. The Uber sort of changed that. Having the driving app, a lot of kids just relied on that.
That's very interesting. Our father didn't learn to drive until he was 32, but he relied on public transportation in San Francisco. And there's a famous story when he was in flight school in the military. His commander, they were up in the air, and he was at the helm. And his commander said, "Okay, now land the plane just like you are parking a car." And my father said to the commander, "But sir, I don't drive a car." And so he did not graduate from flight school. He feels that was the reason. So, yeah, driving. Eric.
Nadav just told me that in Israel, you have to take a minimum of 28 classes before you can even apply for your driver's test. And most people take 35 or more, at least.
And most of them don't even pass the...
Yeah, pop on here.
Hi, everybody.
This is Nadav, who is returning to Israel today. Zofia, Louisa, and people who are not showing us, but Lila, Christina, Manuela, and Christina again. Thanks for coming on.
But yeah, he was going to say...
Most people don't even pass the first test.
Wow, why is it so difficult?
It's a good question. You'd think we'd have better drivers, but we don't.
So how are people then getting around?
No, eventually you finish it. It just takes more time.
Eventually. But and so at what age? They're at 18? What age?
Yeah, you can start from 17 to 9.
Ready, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to cleaning.
Okay.
Sorry, we're heading to the airport soon, so I just wanted Nadav to participate a bit.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I also thought that was it Adrian in the first film?
In the first film, Adrian, yes.
I thought he was a little bit optimistic about the LA drivers. And now that I learned that he doesn't actually drive, it makes more sense.
Well, right. I didn't include that part. And he is in San Gabriel, actually. So he's in a
more suburban
area. But I needed to put this B-roll, and I knew it contrasted a little bit.
Yeah, LA is not known for its wonderful drivers.
Well,
wonderful traffic.
Or wonderful traffic. This morning, actually, I had an Uber driver, not Uber, a Lyft driver, the other one. So, Zofia and Louisa, do you know this rideshare system now where Uber and Lyft, you ask for someone on your phone, and they come and pick you up, basically. It's an app. Do you know about this stuff?
We also have it in Poland.
Yeah, we have it.
You do have it. Is it called something different?
No, we have Uber also.
Yeah.
We have Uber.
Go ahead.
It's just not in every city, I think.
Yes, I think it's not in our city, but in like bigger Warsaw or Łódź.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll tell you, I had a story this morning and finally had a very nice Lyft driver, and he was trying to get over to make an exit off of the freeway, and people wouldn't let him in. And so Eric, thank you for being on. He has to leave and go say goodbye to his son.
I was very happy to meet you, everybody, especially Sophia and Luisa. Thank you so much for what you did. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Eric.